Good morning. Happy Friday.
Morning,
Good
everybody.
morning.
Hello, Ninja Surprise. Hello, Farmer Michelle. How are you?
Good.
Good. Happy Veterans Day.
Yes, you too.
Good morning, everybody that's listening. This is our AMA. We've been doing this every week for, oh gosh, a year and a half now. We're up in the high 60s for episode count. And yeah, it's nice to see everybody in Discord and seeing some people come into YouTube as well. So yeah, nice to see you at TSM, NLO, all sorts of you guys out there this morning. So today normally this is hosted by Musashi, but he's out on PTO. This is his last PTO day. He'll be back next week. He has gotten married, and I hear it was an awesome wedding and all that. He's very far away from me, so we didn't get to go, but I hear it was amazing, and he's having a great time down there. So hey, Lazy Lumberjack, and hey, Mugiwara. Edie Lugs. Okay, I'm here. You can start now. All right. Well, remember, we are doing this on YouTube, so you can you can subscribe, and you can turn on notifications so you don't miss this. Every week, sometimes we see people coming into Discord. What's the link? What's the link? Turn on your notifications so you won't have to ask. Very handy.
Yes, do that.
Thank you, Mr. Paul, for setting that up for us and making all this so easy on us. Let's see. Headlines. Let's see. What do we got first for our headlines? Hey, Dubstep. Sugar
Let's
Pie.
see. Let's start with. Oh, isn't it so far away? Let's see. It looks like we've still got some positions open for hiring.
We do. We have one dev position open. So I got a couple DMs from y'all. Don't be shy. Take all candidates seriously. We've weeded out, people that aren't quite a good fit, and then we're interviewing others, and it's looking good so far. This is a pretty advanced engineering position. You'll need a lot of C# and game dev experience, so just check out our website. I'm going to link it directly in chat right now. Dev position. And it's in the video description, so you can click on it there. Thank you so much, Paul. Next meta, Musashi's wedding cake with crust. We should do that. Jetty. Oh my,
been
as a
fun
surprise.
Yeah, that
Oh
would have
my
been awesome.
gosh. That would be
Someone should
great.
have told us 3 weeks ago. That would have been really
Oh
awesome.
man. Okay. Great idea. Yeah, so that's one headline. Next is Michelle, you mind if I go over the headline work in progress?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, the questions this week were great. I think Michelle sent them out Thursday, and there were a lot of gameplay questions, a lot of like future of Common Ground World questions. Really good to see people interested in the game itself. I love it. I think it's fun. I know Michelle does.
Yep.
So a lot of our questions every week are about earning, and we update you guys on that. But what we're focused on currently, some of you might be interested in, is guilds, and there were questions about that. What are guilds? How do they work? Are you rolling all the features out at first, or are you, doing it in pieces? What is this thing? Why are you doing it? Well, one of the directives from SageMaker, who's still heavily involved in this, right, is he wants it to be super social. I find it more fun when I can show off my town and share things with other players. I know Jimmy was a hit until there were certain features of him that meant he had to go into cryo sleep. Guilds are going to be they're going to be a social feature. V1 that we roll out is going to be, you have to own a node, Townstar node. We haven't renamed them to Common Ground World nodes yet, but you have to own a Townstar node. If you do own at least one, you're able to make a guild inside the game. So we play in the game, you'll have a little button, guild management. And if you own a node, you can open up that guild management panel. And sorry, I'm reading PD Renee. Yes, we're doing an AMA. Let me post that again. So once you open up the guild panel, you'll be able to create one if you own a node. And you're like, why would I want to do that? Well, then you send invites out to all your buddies, and they're able to join. And you can make them officers. There's different ranks. You can members. We're thinking about recruits, things like that. And of course, as you would expect, like any guild and any RPG or other game, you have different permissions at different levels. And so still you're wondering probably, why do I care? we have Discord. Why do we need guilds in the game? Well, because with the guilds, you're going to have a library. The first feature we're going to roll out that matters to you is we're going to have a library of NFTs that you can share, guildmates can share. So depending on your rank, you're going to be able to take an NFT, and I'll clarify this in a sec. Take an NFT, stick it in the guild library, and then anybody that's in the guild can check that out, if they're member or above, right? And you're like, whoa, hold on now. I don't want, I barely know these people. I don't want them stealing my NFTs. Don't worry. It's not a chain operation. It's purely in our game database. So, if you decide, hey, you know what, I'm done with gaming, or I don't want people to use that NFT or whatever, it's still yours, right? That's the whole point of the property. So it is database only. There'll be slots in your guild in the library, and you're like, oh, I'm going to put, Beacon of Light or whatever in there. And then one person can check it out and use it, and nobody else can use it while it's checked out. Now, as the owner of that NFT that's in the library, got a question from Raw. I'll get that in a sec, buddy. How on this NFT, what if you want it to stay in the library, but you don't want so and so to have it? Yes, you can reclaim it. You can say, hey, I'm putting that back in the library. You're done with it. You're not playing this competition this week. You don't need it. So it's all themed around NFT sharing just in our database, and making the game so that you and your buddies can share these NFTs back and forth. So first live question about this, Raw, is real question. How many player spots per node? I think that's still up in the air. It might be 20. It might be 10. It might even be 50. I'm not sure. But what that touches on is the number of players you can have in your guild will be based on guild level. So we're not rolling out upgrading just yet with V1. We just want you guys to play with the features, do the recruiting, make sure that you can manage members, that you can work through any kind of bugs that might be in the library. Once that's all smooth, then we'll talk about fusing NFTs or upgrading them, which is going to be a really cool feature. You put your time into a game, you level up an NFT or level up your node. That's important. Over the next few weeks, you'll probably hear about vaults. So don't mix up guild libraries and vaults. Library, just think each book is an NFT. Vaults are going to be for upgrade materials, and we'll talk about that later. But you will need to actually play the game to upgrade your guild, and you're not just going to be able to dump crypto into your account and upgrade your guild. You actually have to play it to earn upgrade materials. So I'm going to be light on details on that for now. But the TLDR is you can only be in one guild at a time. We will have management on that so that, if you get multiple invites, you can pick the one you want. And you can pick, of course, the node that you want to associate with your guild. Question, JJ Antelope, can only the node owner put NFTs into the library, or can any member of the guild do it? That's up in the game design doc right now. We're controlling who has what actions via our config, so we can change those rules if we find out, you know what, we really want members to be able to put things in the library, not just officers and the leader. If we come to that point, it's like a simple config change. So I believe on first launch, anybody will be able to do it. I think that's the current iteration. So just to reiterate, this makes no network or changes at all. So no ownership of the NFT will change hands. So yeah, thanks, Vulture. So that's the TLDR, the big one. A lot of tech going into that. There's going to be some nice announcements over the next couple of weeks from GALACHAIN that I'm super excited about. These guys are so smart. And that's it for Gals. What's on our headlines for rewards, Michelle?
I think there was that one more question from Raw we didn't answer about how many players.
Okay. So player spots per node. Yeah, it's up in the air. It might be 10, might be 20, might be 50. Where that'll be a config setting.
Yeah, I think that'll also change as the nodes get upgraded also.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. So the next thing on our agenda is guilds. Looks like rewards. Talking about
Yeah.
rewards. Perfect. So stuff we sent out this week was for the jack-o'-lantern competition and for the trick-or-treat bag competition. Those are both out now. We also sent out rewards for the Halloween giveaway. And let's see, the team trophies are not yet sent. It's all listed and it is just waiting approval. So as soon as somebody hits the approve button, those will also be out to your accounts. So, whenever the person in charge of approving things hits the button. So any day now. I don't have any exact time for you, but they're ready. So expect those soon. I think that's all we've got for rewards that went out aside from other Zealy stuff, which I imagine Ninja Surprise will talk about here in just a second.
Yeah, I mean, like pretty much you mentioned, pretty much everything that needed to be said about the rewards. We had three really fun competitions and giveaways during Halloween. We had a little sprint, which was a Zealy sprint. The sprint basically was a series of special Halloween questions about the Halloween NFTs that we had for sale, and some people answered them correctly and within like a time within the sprint time limit, and they actually were on they received some Halloween decorations, the pack of the Halloween decorations for placing within the top 30. Other than that, we also had the giveaway, the Halloween giveaway, and we also had the another little giveaway, I believe it was for the Halloween for the tracks and the wheel thing. So yeah, like they were all really fun. We gave out a bunch of really cool prizes, and yeah, so those should have been sent out. Other than that, we have the marketing vid that I've been working on. I know that I mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, but I'm basically still working on that, getting it chugged along. Our team has a lot going on, so but we're making pretty good progress. So hopefully we'll have something to show for that. Other than that, yeah, I mean, just kind of thinking about some other Zealy, fun Zealy quests that maybe we could do. I got some pretty good suggestions from you guys in another Zealy quest I created. But yeah, it's so I'm basically brainstorming some other ideas for what we can do. But yeah, that's basically a wrap from me.
Nice. Do you want to provide any spoilers for those ideas, or you don't want to say them till they're
Well, one idea
fully?
was actually for fan art. So I guess if you guys are creative and if you guys like, drawing or any sort of artistic, have any sort of artistic talent, I've been kind of thinking about doing some fan art quests. So if you guys think that that's a really good idea, then I could try to add some of those.
Nice. It would be
That's the
fun.
wrong kind of fan, Volcron.
Oh man.
You could, I mean, if you do that, I mean, I'm okay with that too. I mean, I'd be pretty impressed, but
That sounds fun, actually.
yeah, I like to see some fan art getting. I mean, just seeing from other games communities how people do fan art of different characters and stuff. Something I think could be really interesting to see our community come up with common ground.
That's a good idea.
Hmm.
Why not have some low lift message of the day thing that pops up? Like have a weekly fan art challenge, and the winner gets their art broadcast in game to players, right?
Yeah, yeah, that
That
could
would
be
be
fun.
That's a
That's a
cool
good
idea,
idea.
man. Yeah. There's a couple left questions coming in about the guilds, about earnings. We haven't really touched that yet, so that's more of a Bitbender thing, and I think Michelle answered a couple people directly. And Ed777, how would our earnings work if you were lending out an earning NFT to a guild member? Yeah, I mean, we can make any rules, right? But it's not a technological question. It's more of a policy and fairness and fun question. So we are, in the interest of fairness, fun, and all that, we will let you know, and give us your feedback, how you want it, now that you understand guilds a little better, how you think it would work. Let's see. What's up next, Miss Michelle?
I think, let's see here. Looks like story time. Do we have
Uh-oh.
anything fun going on?
Uh-oh.
Let's skip that for this week.
I have
Nothing fun.
yeah, no, we do. It's just the so our artists made this hilarious video with the apple trees and some crazy song, but I can't. Oh, Postman, nice. But I can't really share that. It's the music isn't our property, so maybe I'll share a silent one. I don't know. How about after that?
All right. We have any updates on art restyle or anything?
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't listen every single week, we touch on this. You know, art restyle's been going on for a long time. It's a huge part of the game. It's still a work in progress for the full restyle. We have a whole separate branch that we check daily, and you know people work on it. But it's second priority beside or behind the upcoming content. Current focus is on that, getting ahead of the schedule so we have more calm weekly plans, all that good stuff. We have improved our release calendar and our planning calendar. It's really nice to look at. One of our PM that was hired, I don't know, like 6 weeks ago or something, has been doing great. So I don't want to say his name, and I don't know his Discord name, so I don't think he's in here. But great job if you're listening.
I don't think he's in Discord either, but yeah, he's doing
Oh.
an awesome job.
Yeah. Let's see. What else we got?
Looks like we're moving on to game updates. What kind of features we got coming out soon?
Oh, okay. So this one, where to start? We got 4 things I wanted to bring up. Simplest first. I'm gonna go bottom up. The UI is getting a lot of love. We have received some feedback all over the company. We've done a full UI pass of everything Gala, and all the teams have identified the different flows and interfaces and stuff. You've probably seen some changes on the main web page. Like a while back, we moved the inventory. There's been some feedback about that, and then how you find the games themselves. Inside of our game, it's very modal and pop-up heavy. And with the guilds interface, there's going to be even more because you're going to send invites. You're going to have notifications. So-and-so joined your guild. You know, you're going to have, of course, error messages pop up. You can't place that NFT. You transferred it 8 seconds ago to somebody else. You know, that kind of thing. So the UI has gotten a lot of rework on that. It's really our comms with the player, right? Besides the game board, the UI has to be really, really good. So we've done that. After that, hold on. Okay. I'm seeing all these images come in on Discord, and I'm like, what did I say? It's just about the art. All right. So yeah, next up is GalaChain interface. You guys are going to have some really exciting news from Gala proper pretty soon, not just our game team. I don't want to say any more, but we've been working closely with them. Super smart guys, really hardworking. I love their product, so I'm excited to see what they're going to share. And of course, I talked about guilds. But if you want to know the tech behind, like, what are you actually doing on guilds? So there's, of course, our game. So all the big features start with a game design doc. You know, all sorts of like debating and discussions and art and like the beautiful art you guys are putting in the channel right now. All that goes into the game design doc. Once that's finalized, we turn it into a tech doc, which talks about API calls and memory usage and constraints and FPS and all that. So that's where we are now. We've got our first guild panel up in review right now in the game, and the backend guys are working on the schemas, how to make them performant and scale, all that good stuff. Let's see. Next one, something y'all are probably super interested in is nodes. I think I was looking at some of the stats yesterday, and I was kind of blown away at how many nodes are out there and up and running, right? So there's been a lot of progress there. Our internal node API has been improved. The team that provides that to us really listened to a lot of people's feedback and made it even better than it was before. So that's exciting. And of course, that unlocks our ability to do some more advanced features with guilds, and added some security calls there too. So, my gosh, this is a lot of Volcron talk. Okay, so that was game updates features. Michelle, am I good to move on to fixes, or we got any questions about those features?
I didn't see any questions about any of those specifically, so just keep
Okay.
it going.
Oh, Poison, do you want to hear One Odd Gent's voice? Make those different colors. Okay. So fixes, this is like stuff that, Gangbuster, we'll get to the speed stuff in a minute. The fixes, there were some upcoming NFTs that I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to announce it, but there were a couple bugs caught before they went, or as they went into QA. Those have been fixed. It was things like making sure that a certain NFT can stack with itself, that passive bonuses are added, and I don't know what Captain's sharing this screenshot for. And there were fixes to the audio manager. Some of you might have found some bugs abandoning a town, that maybe it wasn't abandoned properly, or you got errors. That's been fixed. Some other internal fixes on the upcoming content, and then some of you know who you are, were finding ways to create your town before the competition started. And of course, that disqualifies you from rewards, so don't do that. We fixed that. I'm sure there are other things that naughty players can find. If you're really, if you're a really good, I'm laughing at your image there, Dubstep. If you're a really good community member, just message me or Michelle privately and be like, hey, I found a way to reproduce this. Most of you are really good about that, but we all have the best interest of the game in our hearts and our minds. So don't be a dirty cheater. What's up next, Michelle? Upcoming content.
Yes, upcoming content for this next week. Let's see here. All I've got on this list is trophies. So, and those are already in the game. We do have a new NFT coming out this week, which I'm going to talk about later. That's going to go on sale on Tuesday, right before the competition starts. I think that's all I've got for new content. The Hasty Tractor NFTs should be in soon. Those were for this week's competition. Those are the rewards for that. So those will also be added to the game next week. And I think that's all I've got aside from the new crafts that I'm going to talk about later.
Okay. Now, when you say Hasty Tractor, because I haven't played with it, is it actually pretty hasty? Is it faster?
It will be if you get the blueprint.
Okay.
I think the top tier one was a 10% speed boost, and the lower one's down to a 5% speed boost. So it's a pretty big speed boost for a tractor.
That is. I'm in a somewhat rural area, and I don't see any 10% speed boosted tractors. So
neither do I.
Yeah, I gotta apologize to any listeners. There's a bit of clanging outside my window here. So every AMA. All right. Anyway, so there was a question about, can we get a more detailed explanation of how unit speed works? You sure can. I'm going to start with a Common Ground World Super Farmer with the overlay of, put this in Discord. Not really something I wanted to share on YouTube necessarily. It's not awesome, but if you've got it, Paul, feel free to share it. So this just is one of our debug panels. We have lots of things that pop up in the game that help us troubleshoot and debug the game. You see the state, he's moving versus working versus idle. And the current speed is 2. I asked one of our devs, could you give a visual explanation? What is 2? Is that, quadrillion, picometers per second? Is it what? He said, no. So here's the best visual explanation. I'm going to share this one too. Here's our familiar silo. And what he did was he put a 1 by 1 square cube there at the corner. And that is a distance of 1. And the speed of 2 is how much distance you will cover in 1 second. So I hope that clears up. So if you have, most buildings are 2 squares wide. So a unit running at 2 speed will cross that silo if it's crossing from one side to the other, not diagonally, in exactly 2 seconds. So I hope that clears it up.
So what you're saying, so that I can also understand, is that little blue box that's on that silo picture, that's how big, that's how far of movement a unit at 1 speed will travel in a second.
Yeah, that's a
Perfect.
that's a better way to put it. Thank you. Yeah. If the unit speed was 1, it would cross that blue in 1 second.
Awesome.
Yeah, so OBA there exactly. Yeah, speed is a complicated question, right? So there's roads, paved roads, there's speed boosts, and eventually, I don't know if this is a leak. It's probably a predictable leak if it is, but eventually there will be consumables, right, that you spend in the game that speed up certain units. So exactly, there's when you see things like this adds 10% speed to your such and such unit, it would be 10%, or take the current speed, say your unit is 2.0 speed, it'll be 2.0 times 1.1, which would be 2.2, so his speed would be 2.2 at that point. But 2 of those is raw antelope. 2 of those, I think you mean 2 of those blue cubes, right, is 1 tile. So wouldn't it simply be 1 tile, 2 seconds? Yeah, that's the most concise way to say it. Exactly. So, what is our next one?
Our next question here was, can we get a more detailed explanation of how guilds will work, which I think we already discussed. So the next one we've got is, how can I lower my graphics settings so the game will run smoother on my old laptop? And the answer to that is that you can't.
Making me cry. Make me admit that in public. It's true. Yeah, we know the perf is a problem, and on some devices, and it's definitely something we're looking at.
Oh, the next question I have says, when will the new art be added to the game?
Well, I don't have an exact date because we're focusing on the upcoming content. So however fast we get that in, however fast SageMaker and other invested parties like the new art, I can say our team is amazing. Some of the best artists I've ever worked with. So
We do have an amazing team.
Yeah.
The next question says, when will a roadmap be available for the future of Common Ground World?
Well, yeah. So our big features, like I mentioned, and these are multi-week, if not a month or so, features are like guilds and node upgrades, and then but that's going on in parallel with all the content stuff too, right? So in terms of immediate roadmap, it's guilds and nodes, and then content all happening at the same time roughly. Nodes will probably follow guilds. But if you want to know, like, how does a team plan all this stuff out, we have all sorts of charts and drafts and Jira and planners and Gantt charts and all that. So we don't have really like this is a publicly consumable roadmap that I could share today, but I'll ask for one. I'll put it in one of our channels here.
Yeah, really, every week when we do these town halls, it's basically a roadmap. We tell you guys what we're working on, what's coming up next. It's just it's just not written out, but every town hall is a roadmap.
Way to put it.
The next question I have says, when using the fast forward feature in a competition, is the loading time included once the game is running, or is the loading period of time lost and no points are earned?
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought this was about the fast forward itself. So the whole time you were offline, from the millisecond that you closed your browser tab, from that moment until the moment that your fast forward is at 100%, all that time is accounted for. So even if fast forward takes 10 minutes, that'll be accounted for. What's not accounted for is if you're on a really pokey machine and it takes, like, say, a minute to load all the models into RAM and all the textures and all that. If that takes a minute, yeah, you do lose that 1 minute. Fast forward, the time between fast forward done and you being able to click things in the game, that is not available to fast forward because fast forward's over at that point. Hope that answers it.
So basically, while your town, when it's loading and it says bringing your town up to date, all of that time, is included.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
The next question I have says, is it possible to create an express depot that runs on batteries instead of gas, like a hybrid with less pollution, and increase that NFT material capacity from 10 to 15 materials? Of course, letting the UFO legendary skin work with it as well. And yeah, that's definitely a fun idea. Totally possible. Who knows what kinds of NFTs are going to come out? I mean, I know what kinds of NFTs are going to be coming out, but you guys don't know yet. So I'm going to say, who knows? So you never know. Definitely a fun idea, though. Let's see the
It's
next
a fun
one.
idea.
Yeah, the next one says, are you going to develop an express freight peer NFT in the near future for high volume stuff? And yeah, I definitely think that is also a really good idea. Because right now we've only got, for trade NFTs, we've got the Dragon, which does 25, and everything else just does 10. We got the express peer and the express depot. So an express freight peer would definitely be super cool.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll definitely think about it. Or maybe we already are. You just don't know yet.
They don't know.
The next question says, what is the goal for Common Ground World mode?
Oh, the goal. Well, that's so open-ended.
It is.
I mean, the visual goal, right, is to clear all the blighted land. And that takes some doing. Yeah, so I guess in a non kind of silly, to answer it directly, the first goal was to make the game more friendly for new users. And I've actually heard from people, even applicants who are coming here, they open the game up, and because of the way human eyeballs and brains work, the first one they pick is the leftmost option, most people. So they click that, and they come into the mode, and it's slower on purpose, right? Things grow slower. It's a little more calm. There's no gas fees. Workers don't cost anything. So you're not at risk. Because the number one complaint we heard was, man, I really wanted to play this, and I put like 2 hours in. I thought I was doing great. And then, story after story, ran out of gas, didn't have money to make gas, the refineries and all that. And my town was dead. And that sucked. And that's where people would stop playing a lot. So the first priority was to address that and be like, let's make this so that you don't have to be a Townstar expert to be a Townstar new user. And we did that. But in terms of the upgrades, like what are we going to do story-wise, all that, I can tell you the theme obviously is regenerative agriculture. I mean, that's why we paired with the Common Ground movie directors and team. And there's going to be a lot of interesting content around that. And I don't want to say what it'll be because, they're still kind of debating, I had some ideas, but I'm a dev, I'm not a game designer. So, yeah, but I don't want to say more than just that what we intended was make it easy for new users, get more people in the game. And then if they want to try casual and events, they can. And then we have more fun stuff in the future. Yeah, so that's probably, unless somebody has something in there. Looks like Michelle's answering questions live.
Yeah, somebody was asking about they were asking more questions about speed. They wanted to be able to calculate the exact speed of units on different types of grounds.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. I mean, that's interesting. Do you think as a player, Michelle, do you think you would want to see your unit's speed somehow, like be able to click on them and see the speed over their head or something? Would you drill into your game that much?
I'm sure that a lot of players would. I know that I was talking to, I always forget his name, Wild Moopsy, just this last week about getting some kind of boost or buff dashboard in the HUD that would explain, what boosts are active, what speed things are at, and all of that. So I'm sure that when that time comes, that will all be a part of it. Because unit speed boost is there's a lot of blueprints and NFTs for that. So
dubstep. Shots fired, man. I know it's competition, but we have to think about, is this something that we should every feature that we come up with, every great idea, we have to weigh it against, is this something that should take away from all the other goals? Should we put an afternoon into showing this thing and making it nice?
So.
Oh my gosh, everybody likes speed. Okay.
The other thing, I was in the Discord chatting with people about the speed yesterday, is that it is still going to vary based on your machine's performance, your internet speeds, what browser you're using, how many other things you have open on your computer at the time. So like, even if you can see the speed, it's not necessarily going to be exactly that. It's all going to vary for every player still.
Oh, well, so the
Like
units.
if your game is running at 4 FPS versus someone else's game running at 60 FPS, the speed's going to be different.
Oh, no, that's actually okay. So if you're on a potato machine, because our server determines where your unit walks next and all that's driven by the server. Your machine is just a window into the logic that the server shares. So um, people on potato machines with the exact same build as people on $5,000 whatever PCs, um, exact towns will have exact same outputs. So hopefully nobody worries about that.
All right.
I know you're like, no, that's not what I've seen, Volcron.
I trust you. I recently had to switch from one browser to a different browser because one browser was getting 5 FPS max and the other browser was getting up to almost 60. So
I know, and was that Chrome that was on the 5 FPS or Edge?
no, Edge. Yep. And I switched to Chrome.
Okay. Yeah, so as Michelle's pointing out, there's still, like we mentioned earlier in the AMA, there's still certain hardware and software combos that just are a little bit baffling. It runs fine in Edge here, doesn't run fine in Edge on Michelle's machine. That's that's part of our hardware profiling we're doing.
I've been having other issues with Edge aside from just the game, so I know it's not the game. All right, what do we got here for more questions? It says, when will you add quests and tasks in order to win Grit or Soil, which I'm not sure what Grit is. It's actually a different game. You definitely won't be winning a different game inside of our game through quests. We do have daily challenges in the works, though. That is something that Wild Moopsie is also working on. We had a couple of big discussions about it this week and last week, trying to settle on what they might be. I imagine they'll be different for different game modes because, for example, the Common Ground World mode is a lot slower than the casual mode. So the day one challenge may be something like sell 100 pumpkins, and that may be different on the Common Ground World mode because it would take a lot longer to sell 100 pumpkins versus selling 100 pumpkins on the casual mode. What I do know is that at least for the casual mode, it will probably require you to delete and restart your town weekly in order to get the new set of challenges. On the Common Ground World mode, I imagine it'll be something more similar to having to destroy all of your buildings and rebuild buildings to do a different type of craft. If one week it's all pies and the next week it's steel, you're probably going to have to destroy and rebuild or restart your town from the beginning. But if you're in Common Ground World mode, you're probably not going to want to restart your town from the beginning because then you'll be back at the 6x6 and have to slowly expand again. So we're still working out those finer details, but yeah, daily challenges are in the works.
That is true. Backing you up. What's our next question here?
The next question says, I want to know if we're going to have a blue steel competition soon.
Those are fun.
There might be. That's about all I've got to say about that. There definitely might be.
Nice. How about, let me ask you this one, Michelle. And maybe you don't know, but this one question, what's the main importance of the blueprint NFTs? Is there like a main goal with them? Somebody asked.
I mean, they're all different, so it's hard to say there's one main goal. I know when we switched over from ghost cards to blueprints, there's like a set pattern for how they work. So some of them are hasty. They increase the speed of whatever the unit is for that building. There's also bulky. That will be a storage increase for whatever building it's for, like the bulky storehouse, which increases the capacity of your storehouse. What else do we have? We've got the thrifty, like the thrifty foundry, which decreases the materials required to build the building initially. So we've got bulky, hasty, thrifty. I don't have that document open, but I can definitely share it with everybody at some point. I think there's a few more on there that I'm just not thinking of right now. So, I mean, they are important to your gameplay. For example, if you've got a bulky storehouse, then all of your storehouses may increase from 20 capacity to 28 capacity or even 30 capacity. And just that little bit might make a big difference, because if you've got 2 storehouses that'll store the same as what someone else would normally need 3 storehouses for, because you've got the extra storage in it due to the blueprint. Same with like the hasty worker blueprints. You'll need less tractors if all of your tractors are 10% faster than they were before. It may save you a tile or 2 in the long run because they're moving quicker and you'll need less of them.
That's a good point.
They're definitely pretty important to gameplay.
What was so Wild Moopsy's been here a couple months now. What was his first reaction to all the combinations? For anybody who doesn't know his role, Wild Moopsy is our game designer, lead game designer there.
He's getting a handle on it. We still have lots of discussions about what NFTs are, and we've got so many NFTs in this game, and it's easy to get lost in like the giant list of NFTs and what they all do, and it takes a lot of time to remember what they all are and what they all do. He definitely loves Townstar, though. Loves the puzzliness of it. I don't think puzzliness is a word.
It is now.
Anyway. And that's one of my favorite parts of the game also. I love that it's kind of a puzzle and you get to organize things in a certain way and see what works best like a puzzle. That was what attracted me to the game initially.
Yeah, you want to feel like you have to have the knowledge base to support your decisions, and you want to feel like you're good enough at the game that you're making like timely decisions and
exactly. And the other good thing about getting new people on the team, especially for game design, is that they haven't seen the game before, so they go through that same process of trying to learn how to play the game like a new user would. So then they can see all of the pitfalls. I'm not sure if that's the word I'm looking for, but they can see where like first-time user experience is lacking and what types of things need to be added to the game in order to help new users understand the game better. So it's really important that we get that. So we got a lot of great ideas and plans for that kind of stuff because we got a new game designer who didn't have experience with the game and learned in its state now.
Maybe this is a bit of a distraction, but I made an Atari 2600 reference in chat a second ago, and then you used the word pitfall. And I just want to say that made my Friday. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Oh, man. Man, there's so many questions in Discord. Any fix for iOS not having a keyboard? Can't search, can't rename, etc. Yeah, that's a filed bug. That's a known issue. Our mobile guy is currently on guild tasks, but let me make sure that this is properly queued up, because that's a big one. Hear you there, Gangbuster. All right, let's see. Any last prepared questions on the forum?
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we get do meta boosted sales work in common ground world mode. No, that all the stuff, all of like the game data for that common ground world mode is a completely separate set of data than the data for the events and the casual mode, which are together in the same set of data. So if things are like cash boosted, like I don't know, sugar, or pumpkins, or none of that transfers over into the common ground world mode, though those values are consistent. That's all I got for prepared questions.
Okay. Man, you know what I would like to see a poll on is take from, say just the AMA as a sample of our most interested players, right? We have all these ideas coming in. Like Lexel just says, please insert, I'm going to paraphrase here, please insert a column for the number of units sold in the production monitor. And then please have the numbers editable numbers on the added list. Yep. All these nice UI things. It would be interesting to see if people could vote, like if we had a poll on like, here's 5 features, community, you pick. What's the next bug or enhancement, minor one that we should work on next? That would be cool.
That would be cool. We
Lexel,
can totally do that.
I'm taking of course, I take screenshots every AMA for questions, feedback to the team. Jay Delmark, what are the 12 upgrade materials, and how will we be able to get those, Michelle?
What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean by upgrade materials.
I will also say I don't know what you're talking about, Delmark. I don't know why you said there are 12. That's a weird number.
Yeah, I don't know anything about upgrade materials.
That is a peculiar number that you chose there. Feel free to DM me about how you got that number. Yeah, last 50 trades history would be neat.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, so we're talking about a notification panel for guilds because, right, you want to be able, whether you're a member or the leader, you want to know, is my guild active? Are people actually sending out invites? Are they being rejected? Are they being accepted? I don't know how much of those are going to go into the guild panel, but when you're part of an active guild, you want to see that that notification log, like so and so put an NFT in, and then 8 seconds later, so and so yoinked the NFT into their town. So that I mentioned that because it's kind of relevant to the trades history. If we have a repeatable pattern in our UI to show a nice table, sort of like the auto sell config, but better. That might be an easy lift there. Billy says
that would definitely come in handy. I know I play a mobile game on my phone it's just pool because it's a fun way to pass time. And a friend and I are guild leaders in a pool club on the app, and it does show you like a list of who's played games recently, if they won, if they lost, all of that. So
oh wow. Last time I played pool, I was putting in the Sims, putting my people in it, and then taking away the ladders. Is it that kind of pool?
No.
Oh, okay. I think that might be all of our questions for this week, unless you want to cover any sales, Michelle. Sales or leaks?
Yeah, I can talk about the sale that's coming up this week. Why don't we talk about the meta first? I feel like, there we go. We finally got a question about the meta. It seemed like people forgot that there was a new meta coming next week. I know everybody's been asking for leaks since Monday. Someone tried to move Leaky Wednesday to Leaky Monday this week, and I've just been delaying it all week. So the next competition is going to be chocolate pies. I know a bunch of people guessed chocolate pies, so good for you for guessing right. The ingredients for a chocolate pie are going to be 1 cornstarch, 4 eggs, 4 chocolate bars, and 1 butter. I'll put that in the chat so everyone can see it. Chocolate pie. Oh, the O key on my keyboard just does not work these days. I don't know why. It makes it hard to type. There we go. There's the ingredients for a chocolate pie. That'll be made in a cakery, just like the pumpkin pie is currently. Nice. Yeah, 1 blue steel, 500 butter. That's how you make chocolate pie. So that'll be starting on Tuesday, same as usual. It'll be a full, 72-hour competition. The biome for that is Desert North. The edges are Desert Ocean, Desert River. Let me take a screenshot of the little box so that I don't have to type it out. And this will all be in an announcement later today also. There's the edges for that. Again, the biome is desert. And I know I had a picture of what the town was going to look like, but I don't see it anymore. But I will make sure that it gets shared with the announcement when it comes out. Is everybody still liking the starter towns? Feel free to send me any feedback to see what you guys want and what you don't want. I think that's all I've got for the meta for this week. There are some cash boosted stuff. Cornstarch is still cash boosted, and sugar, I believe. Let me check. Sugar is the next cash boost. The chocolate pies themselves will be 150,000 stars boosted for this week. Their normal star value is 1,650. Cash value for chocolate pie is $45,250 in game cash. All right, let's move on to the NFT. So the NFT this week is going to go on sale on Tuesday before the competition, so you will not have it to practice before. I believe that that's going to be the new process going forward, that NFTs will be sold on the same day as competition in the morning. I'm not 100% sure how long that'll last for, but that seems to be the plan going forward. So this week's NFT is a chocolate fountain. I believe Paul has some art for it to show.
Oh, I'm glad you finally shared that. Can I say something real quick about that?
Yes, you
Okay,
can.
so our artists dug into some of the features that Godot itself has, the engine, and this looks so cool. I am I'm excited. I'm gonna buy one. I love it. Oh man, date night. Sorry to interrupt. Okay, thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, so there's a concept art of the chocolate fountain. I love the concept art when it comes out, so it's really nice to share. Our artists do an amazing job at making these things when we tell them what we want. No, it does not give passive chocolate bars, Lazy Lumberjack. It's basically a cocoa stand, but smaller, so it's going to give 2 passive cocoa. It's also going to give a speed or crafting boost to chocolate shops in a 1-tile radius around it, similar to like the way the Foundry works on forges. And it will also have a boost to crafting speed time of cocoa trees across the whole town.
Across the
So
whole
it's
town?
Whole town for cocoa
Oh, that's
trees.
great. Yeah, there's some debate about that, but that's great.
I think that that's all the information about it. The supply, I think the supply is 300 and the price is also 300. But I will verify that before I make the announcement, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Look at that card. That's beautiful. Oh, those floating little metals. Who did that? Who in the world might have done that art?
I bet that was our Todd. He does do such a good job. Always amazing.
Hive says, not that exciting to buy if you cannot practice with it.
Well, you'll have to practice without it and then decide if you think it's something that you want. And if it is, then you can get it done.
Let's see. Covers. That. I think I've captured a lot of these. Yeah, the production monitor question. Insert sold, of course. J. Delmark about the 12 upgrade materials. Anybody who wasn't reading chat, we talked. I hinted a little bit earlier about how V2 of Guilds is going to involve upgrade materials and things like that. So that won't come out in V1. Yeah, marketplace. Michelle answered that. Okay. We got any last minute questions?
I see questions about the crafting speed stacking for the chocolate fountains. I'm pretty sure that it does, and I will make sure that I find out before I make the announcement, and that information will be in the announcement. I just have to check with some engineers first to see what ended up happening with that, because there was a discussion about it yesterday. See Bolcha asking, if the game is only 3 days, why do we need fast forward? That's so that people don't have to have their computers on all night if they don't want to. As much as I love having, Common Ground open as my screensaver on my computer while I'm sleeping in my bedroom, it is nice to shut the screen off.
Also, when we first sent that feature live, I had my competition town running, and then I closed my browser, and I've told this a few times, but whatever. I go to the grocery store, and as I was sitting there kind of defusing from shopping. I was sitting in the car. I was like, oh yeah, I can check my town. So I pulled up, it fast forwards, and I was like, oh shoot, I'm out of space for blah. So I, added more, drove home, and my town had been debugged, if you want to say it that way. So that was it just made it more fun. It's more accessible.
Yeah, it also comes in handy if you have like a power outage or your internet goes down or your laptop battery dies.
Mm-hmm.
Or your phone battery dies for people playing on mobile. I see someone asked a question about like forcing fast forward 12 hours before the event starts. I know that there's some type of work on something similar to that.
Yeah. So we've made a lot of progress. I didn't mention it because most of the people are more interested in like visual things, but so our nightly and hourly and otherly jobs that run periodically, these things are making a lot of progress there. And what we'll probably do as a low lift start is fast forward anybody who's an active player but is offline is offline. We will fast forward your town for you every hour. That's the current plan. We'll see how it works out in reality, and I'll let you know when that's live. We are almost at the end. I think we got time for one more question. We got one from Dubstep Michelle. Do you want to talk about the corn starch storage for November?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not sure what exactly you want me to say about it. It's the same as all the other storage NFTs that we do every month. So the common one holds 10, the uncommon one holds 25, the rare one holds 40. I believe the plan is to add those to the game this week. I think that's on the agenda for this week. So they should be sent out towards the end of this coming week or the week after. We obviously don't want to send them out before they're in the game. That would be weird. You don't want them in your inventory if you can't use them. Then we just get questions all through the Discord wondering why people can't place their NFTs. So they should be out soon. We've also got to make sure that it includes the Common Ground World mode. I think that there were some players who were missing the storage from last month because they played more on the Common Ground World mode, and I'm not sure. I'm not all that great at SQL, but I'm learning. And in that process, I'll make sure that this coming month definitely includes Common Ground World mode, and we'll make sure that I go back to last month and edit it and see if anybody was missing. I do think some people have put in some tickets about it, so we'll get it all sorted. So that is any game mode, as long as you're in the game. You do have to open it though. Fast forward time does not work for the monthly storage NFTs. So if you start a game on the 1st of the month and let it fast forward through the 30th and then open it again on the 30th, that counts as 2 days with the game open, not 30. So you will need to open it every time. It records opening the game, not just the game playing in the background.
Well, thank you for clarifying that.
Anytime.
This has been a fun AMA.
It has.
Yeah. I hope everybody enjoyed it. We're always here. Just ask us in channel, or if it's bug related or top secret question related, send us DMs. We don't initiate DMs. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube. And there's the notification bell too. Turn that on. And thank you so much for listening, everybody. It was really nice. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.